In the beginning of the movie, we see a girl in the jungle, running in a severely injured state, trying to save her life. Then, a tall, broad, deformed man appears from behind, who is a cannibal, a human-eating monster. Deforms are people who have mutated due to the harmful effects of chemicals, making them dangerous, and this particular deform was also quite large. The deform runs up to the girl and, with one hand, covers her entire face. He is so strong that he crushes her face with a single hand. That's why he is called Crusher. After killing the girl, Crusher takes her body to his home, a secluded place deep in the jungle. Crusher also has a big brother at home who was watching TV comfortably at that time. Crusher goes outside and begins dismembering the girl's body. Meanwhile, we see on the TV a recording of the same girl being dismembered by Crusher. These people had been torturing that girl by holding her captive, but somehow she managed to escape. So Crusher killed her, and now she will be their food. The two brothers fry her flesh with onions and oil and started enjoying their grotesque meal. After this, we see a group that kidnaps the daughter of a rich man and takes her away. The girl is locked in the trunk of their car. The kidnappers' group includes a thug, his brother, a boy, and his cousin Sarah. Sarah and her cousin aren't actually kidnappers. They are reluctantly helping the goons due to their circumstances. No one knows where they are heading, except for the thug, who is keeping it a secret from the rest of the group. The group stops at a gas station. The thug stays in the car while his brother goes to fill up the tank. After a while, Sarah and her cousin go into the store. The back door was open, and Sarah's cousin wants to escape, but he also doesn't want to leave his sister behind. In front of their car, an old man is filling up fuel in his truck, and soon a sheriff arrives and starts talking to him, which causes the two goons' heartbeats to increase. The thug takes out his gun. Then Sarah and her cousin also come out. The sheriff starts talking to them as well, which makes the two goons even more worried. They are afraid that the sheriff might suspect them, but Sarah manages to distract the sheriff. After this, they move on again. On the way, the thug starts arguing with everyone. Then suddenly, a large deer comes in front of the car. The thug loses control and crashes into the deer. The three of them manage to escape, but the thug is impaled by the deer's antlers, and the poor deer dies. The three of them try to move the deer, but it is too heavy to move. The thug is in severe pain, which worsens when the deer regains consciousness and starts moving. Unable to bear it any longer, the thug shoots the deer in the head, but he is still not going to survive. In desperation, his brother snatches the gun and asks, "Where do we have to go? Tell me now." But the thug still refuses to reveal the information. In anger, his brother shoots him in the head and kills him. Their plan falls apart with the death of the thug, and now the group doesn't know what to do. The car is also stuck, so they are forced to walk. Unsure whether they should return to the gas station or keep moving forward, they are at a loss. Then there's also the kidnapped girl in the trunk. What should they do with her? While they're deliberating, a truck pulls up. A driver gets out and tells them that two of them can come with him to get help at the gas station. However, the thug's plan is different. He decides that all three of them, including the kidnapped girl, should go with the driver, and instead of going to the gas station, they will continue moving forward. The thug shoots the driver, who was just trying to help, and when he prepares to shoot again, Sarah's brother stops him from firing more shots, and the truck driver uses this moment to escape. The thug contemplates killing Sarah's brother too, but Sarah's presence prevents him from doing so. With no other options, they take the kidnapped girl and move deeper into the jungle. Meanwhile, Crusher's brother has been watching them from afar, his mouth watering at the thought of new prey. Many weeks of food are in front of him and he doesn't want to lose it. So, he hurries back to get Crusher, who is still mourning the loss of his new friend. Crusher says, "My new friend, whom I killed, also tried to run away to save her life." His brother reassures him, saying, "New friends have arrived. Let's go quickly." So he takes the handcuffs with him as shackles. Meanwhile, in the next scene, we see that the truck driver dies on the way because he was shot. As soon as his truck stops on the side, an old man sees him and immediately calls the sheriff. Upon seeing this, the sheriff realizes that the situation is serious because the man was shot. Then, the news comes on the radio that 4 people have kidnapped a girl and are running away. The sheriff recalls seeing 4 suspicious people earlier. He calls for backup and decides to pursue them himself. Back in the jungle, Sarah's brother is taking care of the kidnapped girl, whose name was Ash, while they were being pursued by Crusher and his brother. However, the thug is fed up with all this. He wants to kill Sarah's brother too, but before he can, someone else shoots the thug. It's Crusher's brother. Sarah seizes the moment and tries to act innocent, claiming the thug was going to kidnap them and asking for help. But no such drama affects Crusher's brother. Sarah's brother approaches, but before he can say anything, Crusher's brother hits him with his gun and silences him. He then takes them to his car. They are both surprised as to why he brought them to the car. Then, Crusher's brother expresses interest in the deer's head, unwilling to leave such a tasty meal behind. He leaves Ash with Crusher, hoping they'll become friends. However, Crusher knocks Ash unconscious with a single hit. Here, Crusher's brother was getting Sarah's brother to cut off the deer's head. Then, he made both Sarah and her brother remove the head. But when it came time to take the head with them, Crusher's brother said he didn't want it. Sarah's brother asked, "Don't you want to eat the meat?" Crusher's brother replied, "No, we don't eat animals." They both thought he might be a vegetarian, but they hadn't heard him properly. What he actually said was that they don't eat animals because they are cannibals who eat humans. By then, Crusher had already reached home with Ash and left her there before heading back outside. However, Ash was only pretending to be unconscious, but as soon as she tries to escape, she stumbles and falls, becoming genuinely unconscious. Meanwhile, Crusher's brother brings Sarah and her brother inside. When they see Crusher, they both become terrified. They place the deer's head in the shed. At the same time, the sheriff arrives at their car, confused by what he sees. The car had been in an accident, but the thug had been shot and the deer's head had been cut off. The sheriff couldn't figure out what had happened. To solve the mystery, the sheriff begins following the bloodstains, which were from the deer. Here, Sarah makes an offer to Crusher's brother. She tells him they will receive a lot of money in exchange for the girl, and he can take half of it if he lets them go. However, money didn't matter to Crusher's brother. He offers Sarah some lemonade, but she refuses, saying she doesn't take drinks from strangers. Crusher's brother admits his mistake and extends his hand to shake hers. Sarah thinks she's finally got him on her side, but as soon as she shakes hand, he pulls her in and slams her face onto the table. Sarah then realizes that if he had wanted to kill her, he could have done it in the jungle, so the drink must be safe. She tells him, "You're just like those people from Texas Chainsaw Massacre." But Crusher's brother replies, "No, we're different. We crush people, cook them, and then eat them." He then points a gun at her. Terrified, Sarah quickly drinks the lemonade. Crusher's brother sets the gun aside and begins to walk away. At that moment, Sarah picks up the gun and tries to pull the trigger, but it's empty. Sarah realizes the lemonade didn't contain poison, but rather a sedative. As she starts losing consciousness, Crusher's brother goes to Ash, who was tied to a chair and was about to be tortured. However, Ash was still pretending to be unconscious. Crusher's brother removes the cloth from her mouth. Meanwhile, Crusher knocks out Sarah's brother with one blow. Crusher's brother tells Crusher to take Ash to the shed and lock her up. Crusher does as he's told, then hangs Sarah outside and covers her head with the bag that had been on Ash's face, planning to torture her. They also set up a camera to record everything so they could enjoy watching it later. Meanwhile, Crusher ties Sarah's brother to a chair inside the room. Crusher's brother wakes Sarah up and starts tormenting her in front of the camera. Hearing Sarah's screams, Ash gets an idea and starts cutting her ropes using the deer's antlers. Crusher's brother cuts a part of Sarah's body to show it to her brother. Sarah's brother asks, "Where is Sarah?" Crusher's brother replies, "Her body is hanging outside." By this time, Ash has freed her hands, and Crusher's brother has started torturing Sarah's brother by making cuts on his body. Ash has two options. Either she can run away or do something. Ash decides to show courage and goes inside. She grabs a shotgun, loads it, and puts 2 extra bullets in her pocket. Meanwhile, Crusher's brother is burning Sarah's brother's wounds with a lighter to prevent him from bleeding out. At that moment, Ash enters the room and shoots Crusher. Then, she holds Crusher's brother at gunpoint and frees Sarah's brother. Afterwards, she makes Sarah's brother handcuff Crusher's brother. The 3 of them go outside, but Ash doesn't kill Crusher's brother because she needs him to lead them to the main road. Sarah's brother helps Sarah down from where she was hanging, and the 3 of them begin following Crusher's brother. Ash keeps all 3 of them at gunpoint, as Sarah and her brother are her kidnappers. But for Ash, the biggest threat is Crusher's brother. Suddenly, Crusher's brother grabs Sarah's brother. Sarah's brother urges Ash to shoot, but when she doesn't, Crusher's brother snaps Sarah's brother's neck, killing him. Even then, Ash doesn't shoot. Furious, Sarah grabs the gun from Ash and shoots Crusher's brother. Now Sarah has the gun and points it at Ash, but before she can shoot, someone shoots Sarah in the head. It was the sheriff who thought Sarah was about to kill Ash. The sheriff starts questioning Ash and asks her to take him to the cannibal's house. When they reach Crusher's house, they find that Crusher's body isn't there. At this point, Ash realizes that they are still in danger. Ash wants to run, but the sheriff handcuffs her to a chair. As soon as the sheriff steps outside, Crusher arrives and crushes the sheriff's head with his hands. Then, Crusher begins dismembering the sheriff's body. Meanwhile, Ash manages to free herself from the handcuffs and picks up a knife. Just then, Crusher's brother arrives and points a gun at Ash, but before he can shoot, Ash quickly stabs him in the head. Before dying, Crusher's brother calls out for Crusher. When Crusher enters, Ash shoots him again and runs, grabbing a few more bullets along the way. However, despite being injured, Crusher starts chasing Ash. Luckily, he's slow because of his injuries. Taking advantage of this, Ash runs to the road, where the police have already arrived. Ash locks eyes with Crusher and challenges him to come at her if he dares, but Crusher ignores Ash and walks away. Ash leaves with the police. In the next scene, we see the police team arrive at Crusher's house, and Crusher, hiding, watches them before slipping into the jungle to take revenge for his brother's death. In other words, the game of death isn't over yet.